Today I'm going to show you 25 different and fun ways to play a simple E major scale. Now, I don't usually practice scales, but I have come up with 25 techniques that make playing scales fun, and they are techniques I use at playing my lead guitar solos all the time. You should be able to jump out of this lesson, jump right back to your own playing, apply some of these techniques to stuff that you already know, and I think you'll be amazed at how much better you will sound. Just a quick run through. In this lesson you'll learn how to count music, how to improve your ear, your feel, your touch, your vibrato. You should get better at playing smoothly and legato with hammer-ons and pull-offs. We'll go over alternate picking, as well as arpeggios. Volume swells. Whammy bar tricks. And so much more. Content into this little lesson. So without any further ado, there we go. Okay, so to start out, we'll go over the basic scale. It's in the key of E, so it's like you're playing an E bar chord and you're just putting your first finger on the 9th fret, so we're on the right side of an E bar chord. And I'd like to just leave that first finger there and try to think of the scale as first and third finger on the G, first, second, and fourth finger on the B, and first, third, and fourth on the E. So we got 1, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. Same way going down, 4, 3, 1, 4, 2, 1, 3, 1. So it's just 1, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 4, 3, 1, 4, 2, 1, 3, 1. Okay. First thing I like to show people is to add a little character to each note, give each note a little love. So instead of just basic, that's just, basics, it would sound better to give each note a little expression, a little character. vibrato. And the best way to work up your vibrato is what I call is the rule of 10. For example, anytime you're doing a bend, you bend it 10 times. Now that may happen real quick, or you might not actually have time for it, but so anytime you're doing a bend, always bend it 10 times. And to develop vibrato on just a regular note, do the same thing in a much smaller form. So hit like your first finger on the G string, and then just let you do little mini bends. So yes, you are somewhat bending it, maybe a hair sharp, but it's coming back so quick, the whole thing combines to just sound like one pitch. So if you can add 10 of those to each note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It almost looks like you're nervous. So you can actually just keep your hand in a constant state of vibrato like that, and so that when you hit the note, your hand's already doing that. So it never really stops. So you would never just let a note just sit still. So you would never, once you're, so you can get, if you just incorporate that into your playing, you will absolutely improve. And by the way, a lot of these, I'm playing them on a clean guitar, but they take a totally different personality when you kick on a distortion pedal. Another technique is just to really use different phrases instead of just doing the cookie cutter. Change up the phrasing of those notes a little bit. So you're letting it swing a little bit, like maybe even jazzy. Okay? Each note from the scale, and we're going to slide into each note. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're using the same fingers, and we're going, as a rule, say 2 frets down. So we're taking our first finger from the 9th fret and on G string and putting it on the 7th and sliding, hitting it on 7 and sliding it to 9. And then taking our 3rd finger on 9G and hitting it again and sliding up to 11. And you just go up the rest of the scale like that. First finger on the B on the 7 to 9, second finger on the B from 9 to 10, 4th finger on B 10 to 12, Same thing on the E string, 7 to 9 on the first finger, third finger 9 to 11, fourth finger 11 to 12. So it's, and then go back down the same way, 12. So we got pinky on 11 sliding up to 12. We got third finger on 9 sliding up to 11. First finger on 7 sliding up to 9. Same thing on the B. Fourth finger 10 sliding to 12. Third finger 9 sliding to 10. First finger 7 sliding to 9. G string, third finger sliding 9 to 11. First finger sliding 7 to 9. Takes a lot of control, and it also requires what I call auditory visualization, where you're visualizing or imagining a note in your head, and you're combining that with the physical motion of hitting a note and sliding up to that note that you're hearing in your head. So you're hearing no 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 no. So and any lick that you might know will always sound better with a slide into it. So if you're like, if you were, or instead of your, or instead of, so any note, not only if it's sitting still should you add vibrato to it, but you can also slide into it to make it even that much better. The next technique, we're going to do the exact opposite. We're going to slide down into each note. Okay, and this requires the exact opposite. It's still the auditory visualization, but you're taking your first finger on the G11, sliding to 9. Third finger on G13, sliding to 11. So we're doing this, and then just sliding into each note with its finger. Okay, now that'll give you super control. So, the point here being that you can slide into any note, and you can slide down to it or up to it. For example, that first note with the first finger, you can hit G string sliding 7 to 9, or you could hit third finger 11 sliding to 9. So again, any lick you play always sounds better with a slide into it or a slide out of it with vibrato on any note you might hold, or really on the whole thing. So that is a lot harder though, the slide down. Okay, do that a few times until you're totally comfortable with it and it doesn't give you a fit. Most people want to do different fingers, but just keep in mind the finger that it needs to be, and always end up on the right fret with the right finger. So don't be switching fingers just because it's easy, because part of being good at guitar is being able to tell yourself to do something and doing it with the discipline. we're going to combine the two. We're going to slide up, and then the next note we're going to slide down. So every other one we're going to go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So either you start up, down, or you start down, up. So let's say I was going to start up, down. So I'd go up, down, 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 up, down. Or if I wanted to start the other way, down, up, it would be down, up, 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 down, up. This is mind-boggling at first. So get to where you're fluent at it as well. Not only do you have to imagine the next note, you have to keep track of where you were and where you're going. So a lot to think about there, which is great for your chops and your discipline. The next section is think like a blind man. Let your fingers see. Let your fingers hear. Imagine doing all of these, playing the guitar just without being able to see it. Same thing with these, every exercise we do in this whole lesson. The true test is if you can just do it without looking, with your eyes closed. So shut your eyes, and this really takes some serious connection to the instrument, with the auditory visualization combining with the physical playing and the sounding of notes. So the true test on all of this stuff is, first of all, can you do it round and around? And second of all, can you do it with your eyes shut? So, just for fun, I'll show you those last three exercises with my eyes shut. So here's the one that every note goes up. Okay, now here's the one going down, which is trickier. The every other one, starting with the up down. And the other one that starts with the down up. Notice there, I didn't rush myself. If I wasn't feeling it, I waited till I heard it clearly and I felt it, and I didn't just take a stab or a guess at it. So, think like a blind man. Now, in reality, a more practical application of these slides and whatnot might not be every note like that, but it would be more like maybe the first note of a little bunch. Wouldn't you know it, you can also learn to count. Now, maybe some of you do, but I'll give you my 2 cents on it. And what I mean by that is, if you're wanting to do triplets or eighth notes or sixteenths, and you want to have everything in perfect time with the rest of the band, and until you're thinking in perfect time in your head, and you can translate that to your playing in your fingers and onto the guitar and down the chord and through the amp. So what we're going to do, in other words, going to try to tap our foot. You can just see my knee there, but what I'm doing is I got my the ball of my foot down, and I'm tapping my heel, actually, the exact opposite of what a lot of people think they would. Anyway, so tap my heel, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to play the scale along to that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or one of those other exercises. So those are quarter notes of 1 or 4 of them per bar. Now we're going to do eighth notes. We're going to give each note of the scale 2 notes now. And we're going to do that with the tapping. And notice when your foot goes down, it also comes up, so when it comes up is the second. You can either pick down twice or pick down and then up. Okay, but so you could alternate your picking like that. So, but the thought process is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So get to where you can do that. Those are 8 notes, 8 of them per bar. The next set would be triplets. Where are you going? So where we're going down, up, down on the pick, and then the next one, same thing. Triplet, 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 triplet. Okay, so, and again, you can just do your foot and do those even without playing. Triplet, 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 triplet. can also just alternate pick these. So the first triplet is down, up, down, and the next one's up, down, up. Okay, but I prefer to actually start on the downstroke on each one, but it's another thing you can learn or teach yourself to do, is to alternate pick the triplets. Also, when you're doing this, you can mix and match quarter notes, eighth notes, and triplets. For example, maybe I'll do a quarter note, 2/8, a triplet, 2/8, a quarter note. So, and you can come up with this on the fly. So maybe I'll do 3 triplets, 2 sets of eighths, and finish off with quarter notes. Now I'll do 3 quarter notes going up, and then 2 sets of eighths, and then 3 triplets. So and then being able to switch back and forth between eighth notes, triplet, and triplets. Because it's easy to do the quarter notes. Okay, so mix and match those, but always keep your foot going. The next logical step is to do 16th notes. Pick each note 4 times. Okay, and again, you can alternate pick. You almost have to. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And you're thinking Mississippi, 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 Mississippi. Or 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 1 Mississippi. Okay, so again, mix and match the 16ths with the triplets and the eighths and the quarter notes, and you might come up with something like this. Again, you can just come up with those on the fly. Simple. The next picking technique is what I call a trill pick or a mandolin pick, which is like if you're strumming really hard. So I call it a trill. So you're just fretting the note. It has no timing to your right hand. Just like fast drums, like a mandolin. Okay, so there's that way to do the scale. Again, with foot going. So the pitch changes on the beat. it's not 16th notes, because they would sound like this. But it's almost the same technique. That's the exact picking technique for shredding. If you look at the right hand, now I'll just exact same picking, you're just putting notes underneath it. I almost made this a separate little section, but something that really kills my wrist, and I think would help a lot, is when you do that on 2 strings. So you do that mandolin strum shred pick on 2 strings, on the G and the B, G and the B, G B, G B, G B, then B E, B E, B E. Same strum. Kills my wrist, but it's perfect for getting your wrist in shape. Nothing better. That's the double whammy. In other words, it gets you used to doing riffs around chords in time with the, again, you can do your foot. This is one of my favorites. You've heard it a million times, where you use your volume knob. Instead of picking, you fret the note with your left hand and bring up the volume, like rolling on a Strat at least, with the pinky, for example, on that volume knob. Love that, right? Okay, so try that next time. Okay, now the next one, I know I've got a black pickup switch here, which may be kind of hard to see. Right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the scale, and then we're going to switch pickups, and we're going to give ourselves 1 B to switch. So you can either go then switch, or just do half. Okay, so what I'm doing is just starting out maybe, and again, a lot of people, maybe your pickup switches aren't as convenient as a Strat, just right there, and you may have to reach a little bit to do this, and maybe as a result you never even end up playing on some of your rhythm pickups, or maybe you just stay on one pickup all the time, because it's a pain in the butt to change them. But kind of do this and incorporate it into your practice. It can be really fun. So again, maybe starting out on my rhythm pickup, take a beat, switch it to the 4th position. In one beat, I switch it to the middle, switch it to the 2nd, switch it to the 1st, back to the 2nd, back to the middle, back to the 4th, back to the top. Okay, so if you'll notice, each one of those sounds different. So again, you can build up your speed to it, and actually, you can maybe, instead of going, every one, maybe you want to go from practice going the top to the middle, and maybe the 2nd to the 4th, maybe the 4th to the top to the bottom, back to the 2nd to the 4th, so you can just entertain yourself in any number of combinations, because you're not always just going in one straight line like that. So you can build up your speed. So the easy ones are the bottom, because you can just slap it up, and then the top, because you can just slap it down. You have to have a little control to switch in between. And then the last thing I'll say on that is you can actually coordinate switching pickups with adjusting your volume. So if you give each one of those a beat, again, maybe starting here, switch pickup, adjust volume, back, pickup, volume, pickup, volume, pickup, volume. So that's another little game you can play with yourself, because when you're out there playing live, you want to be able to flip in between the pickups or different sounds. First of all, to get all the different sounds out of your guitar that you can, but second, just to do it fluidly so you're not stuck on one pickup. And another favorite of mine, where you're doing a whammy as a pick. Okay, and some of you might have a whammy, I'm sorry. If so, go ahead and skip on. But the whole idea here is, without picking, to press the whammy, put your first finger on a G string, 9th, and then release the whammy. So you're hitting it, and letting it come up at the same time, so it sounds and it rises up. And you do that for every note then of the scale. Okay, so that's super fun to do, and the thing is, if you're coming up and your next note, you're going to do the same thing, you really don't even have to let the first one die out. You can let it go up and down, and then hit the next one. so that's another technique. Once it's, don't waste it, don't ever waste it when it's down. Again, not picking any of those notes whatsoever. So, give that a shot next time. Okay, now we're going to get a little bit more detailed into alternate picking, where you pick down and then up every other pick. So, the way to get used to incorporating that in your playing is to G string here, in this case, go down on the 1, up on the 3, third finger, and then go up to the B string, go down, up on the first and second finger. Now here it gets a little trickier because you could do pinky down on the B, but you have to do first finger up on the E, and then down on the third and up on the fourth on the E, top E. So we're starting at the bottom again. We're 1, 3, which is down, up, and then down, up, down, up, down, up. Same way going down. Down, up, down. Now you have to go up on the fourth finger. So we're coming off of the downstroke on the E, and the next note is an upstroke on the B. And then down, up on the second and first, and down, up on the G. So to me, there's two uncomfortable places there. When you're going up, right here, pinky first on a down, up on the B to E, and then going back down from the E to the B with a down on the 7, E to an up on the B10. So get used to going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, that's the basic, and that gets old quick, but it requires some serious coordination of your picking in your left hand. It might help to do a metronome or play along to music and see and make sure that those you're good, got strong downbeats. With the foot always. The rule of doubling, you add a note and play back in the same direction and double your speed. So we're coming 4, 3, 1, 4, 2, 1, 3, 1, and then we're going to move our first finger over to the 8th fret and then move it. So that would, it's going to be the first note of the next 16ths. So instead of just the regular scale, it's going to start on the 8th instead of the 9th. You add the note that we're adding. So we're going to go. Here's another very cool thing to work on. Don't let the charts intimidate you here. We're just doing 4 notes in a row, starting on the G, same thing on the B, and then moving over 1 fret on the E. So we're going 9, 10, 11, 12 on the G, 9, 10, 11, 12 on the B, 8, 9, 10, 11 on the E. You know, alternate picking, say. And then we're going to move that pinky over to go down the bottom part of the chart and just go 4, 3, 2, 1, starting on 12. So far we've gone. And then we're going to move 1 over to the right with the pinky on the B and go 13. And same thing on the G, 13, 12, 11, 10. And then we'll move our first finger back over to 9 to do it again. Takes a fair bit of coordination, and again, with the nice thing about 16ths, you can just get a lot of mileage out of very little effort. I mean, if you're ever at a loss for, a solo idea in the middle of a prog song somewhere, you could just do a bunch of chromatics. Okay, so this is really cool when you play it up to speed. Okay, have fun with that one. Okay, now we're going to go over your legato playing, your smoothness, your hammers, and your pulls. Again, we can do that on the scale here. We probably all know what a hammer is, so let's just try starting on the G string, hitting 9 and hammering to your 3rd finger on 11. And then on B, go ahead and hit that 1st finger, hammer to 2nd, and hammer to 4th. So we got 5 notes, and we only had to pick 2. And same thing then on the E. Go 1, 3, 4. With the 1st hammering to the 3rd and hammering to 4th. And if you can't do that, then that's a good thing to work on. So we're actually made it through the whole scale and picked it 3 times. Right here, right here, right here. So now the control takes place in not just doing those as triplets, which you could. That's a common thing to play, is just, 1st, 2nd, 4th finger on the B set. But to coordinate that into a 16th note, such as Mississippi, 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 Mississippi. So notice the picking is on the 3rd note of the 16ths, the 1st note obviously, but then the 3rd note. So there's 16ths. But then you're starting the next set of 16th with your pinky, and then you have to pick the E string. Oh. So now you're starting the 16th with a hammer, and the 2nd note of the 16th is a pick note, hammering to 2 more notes to finish the 16th. Mississippi, 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 Mississippi. So you have to coordinate the pick coming on the 3rd note of the 16th here and having come in on the 2nd note of the 16th here. Takes some coordination. Okay, so then coming down we can do pull-offs, which is the pinky on the 12th fret, pulling off to 11, 3rd finger, and pulling off to 1st finger, 9. So we got 12, 11, 9 as a pull-off. Again, pinky pulling off to 3rd finger, pulling off to 1st. If you can't do that, and again, you can do hammer-ons or pull-offs. Be able to do those fluently. So anyway, so you're starting with, and then coming down to the B string and going 4, 2, 1, and to the G, 3, 1. So going down, it's the exact opposite problem where you're going Mississippi, and then you have to pick on the 4th note of the 16th, pull off to start another 16th, pull off, and then pick on the 3rd note of the 16th. So you're picking on the 4th note of the 16th and the 3rd, right here and right here. It again takes a little coordination. So if you're going up one way and down the other, so try incorporating that exercise and see how smooth you can get it. Really takes some trust to hit those notes and hammer to them, and trust that they're going to be there and not mess up the whole sequence of the flow of the whole lick. Now we get to a really cool technique that, like Brian May, Queen, probably is famous for. Trilling, then, is when you just take 2 notes, say for the example the E at the top fret, 12th fret, E, and you go 1 fret lower and hammer to the note you want. You can actually go like a fret or 2 higher and hammer or pull off to the note, but more often you would, if you wanted to play the 12th fret, you'd go to the 11th fret and hammer to the 12th, and then you would pull back off from 12 to 11. So you'd be like 3rd finger, hammering to pinky, pulling back off to 3rd, and you do them fast without any time. So the rule of trilling, whatever note you want, you can go fret or 2 below it and trill to it. Trill back and forth. A typical way to play a scale with trills would be maybe start on that E string and go 3rd, 4th, a trill on a 3rd to 4th. And then, since the next note is the 11th fret, and we want to go a half step below it and trill to it, so use your 2nd finger and trill back and forth between the 2nd and 3rd finger. So the first one we got 3rd and 4th, and then we're going to go 2nd and 3rd. Now, since the next note is a first finger, we're going to have to move that over a half step and hammer first finger to second. So then we get down to the B string, and we're hammering third to fourth again. And then we go to hammer first to second, and then we got to move our first finger over again to eighth and hammer first to second finger, 8 to 9. So you got two subtle hand shifts there on the first finger, requiring some dexterity there. So starting at the top again, we're like, and all we've really done is and added a note before each one of those notes, a half step down, and trilled to that note. And then of course then the G string would be second to third because it's a third, so we're going to hammer second to third. Now on the first note on the G, we're going to have to move a half step down again. So that's 3 shifts to the right. And you can go back up. Okay, so again, you would very rarely do it that way in real life, but I mean, again, you would use it maybe to, you know, augment just another lick. So you can really use that to spice up your licks, and maybe not, you know, all the notes like that, but just okay, well, wouldn't you know it, the major scale can also teach you how to play an arpeggio. If you just take the third and the fifth notes of the scale, so you take the first, the third, the fifth, and then the top one again. That's 1, 3, 5, like an E triad. So now there's a number of ways you can play that. Again, you can alternate pick it. That's tricky, but you should be able to do it. Or you can just pick each note. That's fine too. You can also hammer on that B string, 9 to 12, and then come back and pull off 12 to 9 again. So you're only picking here, 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 here. So you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 notes and only picking 4. Okay, so each way takes some coordination. So what I like to do is go down pick, it hammers, and down pick again. So down, down, down. And then catch the pinky back on the upstroke. Pull off, and then we're back to a down pick. Or you can go down, down, then up, up. It's probably the fastest way. Okay, either one's fine. Okay, then we get to, wow, guess what? The major scale can teach us about the minor scale as well. Instead of playing that major third, or the third note of the scale, well, the minor scale plays one fret down. So that's what makes it different than a major scale or a major chord is the third, one of the differences. So it's actually starts out like that starts out sad instead of happy. So instead of having to move our hand over to the left like that, we can just lay our pinky down. And then play the next two notes the same. That's an E minor scale, at least the first 5 notes of it. And then the only other difference then is on the top E, thin E, instead of 1, 3, 4, it's 1, 2, 4. There's a number of different minor scales. So really, but there's really only 2 note difference, right? Oh. So what we're going to do is make that into an A minor arpeggio. Again, you can have alternate pickings on this, either picking down, 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 up, up, or down, down, up, 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 down, down, up, up, which is like a sweep. Okay, so the way we're going to do this is first finger on the normal spot, and we're going to hammer or alternate pick to a pinky, and then do pinky flat on B and high E, and then up pick on the B on its way back down on the B and G strings. And those hammers allow you to play a lot faster, although it almost requires more control than just picking straight down. Another technique I love using is a rake. You don't even have to have any notes fretted. You can just damp everything. So I mean, you don't have to know the notes that are in the chord to what. It's just if you want to hit an E string pinky 12th fret, for example, you can just rake up to it, dampening all the strings, or have an E chord. Even if you don't know what chord it is or what key you're in, if you're going to any note, you can always just rake to it. And you can apply that to the whole scale, just like. So you hear those picks, it's like an arpeggio without any. Again, you would probably never do it like that as extreme, although you could, but I mean, you could use it to augment licks you already know. So the next technique is really just a thought as far as anything you do here. You can also do 12 frets higher, and it has its own unique, obviously, challenges and sounds. So if you're lucky enough to have a guitar with 24 frets, you can just go up here and play the exact scales we were just doing. I don't have that, so let's say we're going to C, where our first finger is on the G string, 5th fret. We can move that up. That pinky, which is now on the 8th fret, we can add 12 to it and go to 20. So I just count the frets, 12, 15, 17, 19, 20. So I'm going to put my pinky, I'm going to picture that 20th fret and just move the same shape up and replace my vision with my fingers. Okay, so anything. Okay, so anything you do down here, you can do an octave higher. Playing the scale with bends. And what this all boils down to is being able to bend with all your fingers just as equally and nimbly and as all your other fingers. So we want to be able, we don't want to have a weak finger in our bending arsenal. We want to have them all just as strong as the others. So just to practice this right off the bat, you could just go to the 11th fret E string with your pinky and bend up to that E note, and do our rule of 10, where every bend we make, we do it at least 10 times, or more, or 20 or 30, depending on how long you're holding the note, or 2 or 3 times if you're real quick off of it. But anyway, so we're going to do pinky to that E note, and then we're going to do 3rd finger, and then we're going to do 2nd finger, and then we're going to do 1st finger. So again, 1st, then 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Same note, 4 different ways to get there 4 kind of different sounds too, right? Something the old blues guys figured out, just how to get a feel from those bends and different fingers with the same note, just sound a little different. So cool. But bottom line is, rule of bending, similar to the rule of trilling. Anytime you want to play a note, you can go a fret or 2 or 3 below it and bend up to it. So if you wanted to play an E note in our scale here, the 12th fret E string pinky, in order to keep our hand in the same position, we're going to use our 3rd finger and bend up to that E note. So to start the scale, instead of, we're going to start it, we'll start out bending that 3rd finger, and then the next note, we're going to use our 1st finger to bend to that 11th fret sound. So we're going 9th fret, 1st finger, bending up a whole note. This first time we were bending up a half. This time we're going to bend up a whole, and it's hard. Okay, and then we're going to go to substitute for the 1st finger 9th fret. We're going to drop down to the pinky. We could do it up here on the E string, but to keep our hand in the same position, we can do the same bend here on the B string with the pinky. So that takes care of the first 3 notes. Okay, so then we're going to have to do these 3 notes. So using the same notes as the ones in the scale. So the next note would be the pinky on the B, and we're going to use our 2nd finger, 10th, to bend up to that pinky sound. So, and then use the 1st finger to bend up to this note. So we're, and then the next one would be here. We're going to use our 3rd finger on the G to do it. And then we're going to do the 1st finger on the G, which I like to bend down. And then the last note is the only one we have to move for. 1st finger over to 8th fret G and bend it half fret, half step. So that whole sequence and we can go up. There's one with the 1st finger. Has to move over. 1st finger. 1st finger. Okay, so those are bone crushers, especially if you're not good at even doing a simple bend anywhere, or not to mention anywhere with the pinky. So again, you might not do that in real life, but you can augment, if you're going to end up on a note on a lick, you could always just, instead of holding it and giving it vibrato, you could always just go a note, a fret or 2 below it, and bend up to it, like. The very last technique is kind of the opposite of what we just did with, they call them ghost bend and releases. So, which means that you do the bend ahead of time. You don't pick it. Like for this first note on the E string pinky, 12th fret, we want to bend it and then pick it and let it release back to the right note. Ghost bend, because it's a bend without any picking as opposed to a bend. This would be a ghost bend where you bend it first, pick it, and release it. Like as a grace note. And again, you can do the whole scale like that. So what you're wanting to do is just each note of the scale, bend up first, hit it, and bend down, and let it release back to it. Again, I like pulling those G strings down instead of up. Again, those first finger ones are probably the hardest. So work on that. That'll help you immensely, being able to do bends and ghost bends with any finger at any time.